How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. So, I don't even know where to begin. It was rough today. One of the worst days in recent memory when it comes down to the stock market. We had the S&P down 2.3%. The Russell went down almost 4%. The Dow went down 2.5%. And the NASDAQ, big tech, the tech stocks, NASDAQ 100, went down over 2%. So we got to break it down, talk about 5 stocks I'm looking at, some charts, my thoughts on the markets. Am I buying, selling? Am I panicking, freaking out, running for the hills? We're going to talk about it all in this video, so sit back, relax, hit the like button, subscribe, let me know your thoughts in the comments, check out my Patreon, and make sure to get your 50 free bucks from M1 Finance. All that good stuff's linked down below, and with that being said, let's get into it. And before we even talk about these charts, guys, which are still looking pretty good if we're looking in the long term on the 4-hour chart. Yeah, SPY's still looking pretty good. We're uptrending. That's looking good. But in the very short term, it's a falling knife. And before we talk about it, the VIX, let's talk about the VIX. It went up 55%. I don't even remember the last time I've seen the VIX up 55% in a day. I don't even know if I've ever seen that. Well, maybe back in March, April, that time period of 2020, maybe we did see the VIX up 50, 60% in those days. But since then, I mean, no joke. And please let me know down below if you guys have seen it. I have not seen the VIX up 55%. So what that's telling me is, and by the way, now that I'm looking at it, the VIX did hit a high here on the 4-hour chart. So we're at the highest volatility point that we've been at for months, right? So what that's telling me is there's a lot of fear, a lot of obviously volatility, and a lot of uncertainty. And what does the stock market absolutely despise? What does the market hate? It hates uncertainty, right? And we don't have to go into it because I've already made 2 videos today talking about it. There's tensions with China that we're not going to get into. There's problems with the CV, this new variant out of South Africa. You guys know about it. We're not going to dive into it. That is what's going on right now. And we're going to break down the charts, right? That's what you guys came here for. We're going to talk about what I'm doing, the stocks I'm looking at and so forth. So at this point in time, SPY on the 4-hour chart completely collapsed under the 180 SMA. That's very obvious here. And on the 20-day chart, what we just saw was the 4-hour chart, but here is the 20-day chart. We're trading under that channel that we were talking about recently where we did double bottom yesterday, or that was what, the day before Thanksgiving? Yeah, day before Thanksgiving. We double bottomed there and we broke out. So that ended up being a bull trap. In hindsight, that ended up being a bull trap, and it kind of suckered in a lot of buyers. They saw this, okay, double bottom breakout. At that point in time, it seemed like SPY wanted to go to the top of the channel here, maybe hit all-time highs, and then boom, we got the catalyst. And that goes to show when the markets get catalysts, positive or negative, the technicals go out the window a lot of the time, right? The markets just do whatever. If there's fear, screw the technicals. We're selling, right? That's what the markets are saying here. So we collapse under. Now we're trading at a multi-week low. And going back to that 4-hour chart, clearly under both moving averages. And at this point in time, I'm thinking we're going to go 450, maybe 455. I mean, heck, we're already near 455. We're pretty much there. We're at 457.1 after hours. And in fact, now that I'm looking at the chart, we've sold off even more after hours. We closed at 458.97 on SPY. And again, I just said we're at 457.1 right now. So at this point, the next main level of support where I do believe we will see some sort of relief rally is right around 453, 452, that general area. That was the high point from the beginning of September, the all-time high from back in the beginning of September. So that's where we're going by the looks of it, guys. And if that were to break, if things got uglier, which could happen, never say never, right? If we broke 450, went under that, we're probably going to go to 447. That was the high point from the middle of August, and I doubt we get under that, at least in the short term. We're definitely, in my personal opinion, going to see some sort of relief rally before we even consider going there. But again, never say never. I've been wrong in the past. So be careful, guys. And at this point, if you've been watching me for a while, you probably know I'm not panicking, right? It's not good to panic in the markets, period, no matter what's going on. It's never a good idea to panic sell, freak out, sell everything. Not a good idea. But what I am doing is I'm being very, very cautious, and I'm just keeping an eye on my watch list of stocks, right? This is what I always say on the channel. You know, when you're looking at the markets, have 10, 20 stocks that you watch diligently every day, and you have price targets for these stocks where you want to buy more and even add new positions to them. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I have about a 20-30% cash position right now, and if things were to bleed even more, let's say SPY starts going down to 440, 430, even if things got that ugly, you know, I would probably start averaging into buying more of my VOO position, which is an S&P 500 ETF. That's one thing that I'm definitely going to do if we come a bit lower here, you know, low 400s on VOO. I'm going to be buying more of it. And this is kind of a staple in my portfolio, long-term portfolio, and it's an S&P 500 ETF. And that's kind of what I do. I average into this, and I buy more when it's actually bleeding out, which it is obviously bleeding out right now. When it comes to QQQ, let's pop it up. QQQ is actually, unlike SPY, holding above the 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart, and I'm actually seeing a head and shoulders forming here. Let me show you guys. We got the left shoulder here. It's going to be sloppy, but bear with me. Right shoulder, or rather the head right there. And then we got the right shoulder. So if this collapses under the 180 SMA, there might be a bit of a drawdown towards 380 to 385. That was the high point from late August, early September, which was at that point in time an all-time high, right? So it's not like the markets are collapsing to the point where everyone's panicking. Even though the VIX was up 50%, it's not that right now, in my opinion. This is simply, it's obviously a volatile time period, but it's kind of just a short-term scare, in my opinion. I'm not too sure if this is going to last. We might get a multi-day sell-off, don't get me wrong, but is this new variant, is this going to cause a month, 2-3 month bear market correction? I doubt it. I mean, if it's terrible, if it's extremely deadly, who the heck knows? I could be wrong, but I really don't think it's going to cause so much panic to the point where it's going to collapse. I mean, I doubt it, to be honest. I really do doubt it. And you guys know, Jerome Powell, the Fed, he got nominated again, by the way, you know this. If things do get ugly, you know what they're going to do. They're going to stop tapering. They're probably going to revamp the QE program, and they're going to push interest rates, raising the interest rates back even further, and that's going to just pop the markets up. Like there's no new variant. The markets won't even care about it if Powell stops tapering, if he aggressively goes after it with the policies. So I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'd love to know, as always. That's kind of, a little bit of my 2 cents here. Now, let's talk about some stocks. CrowdStrike looks pretty good. Today, it went up about 1%. We are trading towards the bottom of this channel on the 4-hour chart. And I'm going to put my alert at about 235 when it comes to CrowdStrike. Because, look, if we start getting out of there, which is resistance as of now, right? Because we bottomed at 235 in the middle of August, also in the beginning of October, and obviously we're trading under 235, making it resistance. So if we break out of there, I think there's a big move coming towards the moving averages here, and this is one of those stocks that did very well during the initial wave of CV, right? Back in, what was it, March, February, January of 2020. If you guys take a look at the chart, CrowdStrike went ballistic during that time period. It went from $30, $50, all the way to now it just hit 300. So this could be a mover in the coming weeks, no doubt about it. From 235, 250 to 270, that's possible. Does it break 300? I don't want to say that quite yet because we're only at 230, but it's always possible. Like I said, never say never. And it's one of those stocks that's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Palantir, PLTR. this is another one, right? It's kind of similar to CrowdStrike in a sense where it's holding an uptrending channel on the 4-hour chart, and we're trading a little bit under recent support levels that are now resistance points at about 21.50 to 22. You guys can see back in July, maybe a little bit in August as well, we held about 21.22 as support. Now we're under it, making it resistance. So I'm actually going to put my alert on Palantir at 21.50. I'm going to put two alerts actually. One at 21.50, and then I'm going to put another one at $22 per share. If we start getting out of these points, no joke, guys, this could start making a move up towards the mid-high 20s, no doubt in my mind. And, you know, we've seen this stock over the past couple of years. Well, it's really only been a thing for about a year and a half, 2 years at this point. But since it's been publicly traded, it hasn't gone much lower than $20. I mean, yes, it's gone to 17. It was in the beginning phases at about $8, $9, $10, but over the past year, it has not gone under $20 really at all. And that's pretty much where we are now. So I'm thinking this is a very strong support. Buyers will step in. We're already seeing a bullish divergence here on the 4-hour chart. I'm liking Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. Gilead is another one that I'm looking at here, ticker symbol GILD. This one looks pretty good. The chart's very bullish by the looks of it. We're seeing a golden cross. That's first and foremost. 50 SMA is crossing above the 180 SMA. We're seeing an inverse head and shoulders. That's another point worth mentioning. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And we're trading above both moving averages. And today we had a 0.3% green day. Nothing crazy, but it was a green day nonetheless amidst all of this madness out there. And by the looks of it, look, if this inverse head and shoulders completes, we're probably making a move towards $73, $75 per share, maybe more like $73, $74, which was the high point from the middle of August. So watch out for Gilead, right? AXP is another one. American Express that I personally think could be a bounce back play here. It hit $189 per share back in October, literally a month ago, and now it's a complete falling knife. It's in free fall mode. It went down 8% today. It's sitting at 157, and now it's almost in a bear market. The stock is down 17% from that recent $189, $190 high, and yeah, be careful because it is a falling knife. But if I pull up the 3-year chart, AXP is right by the 50 moving average here on this time frame. So we might see a short-term bounce there. No kidding. You know, but one thing worth mentioning, if we break under 155, be careful because this thing could get ugly quick because we have a big gap to the downside that could fill. But that's if we break 150, right? If we break under 155 as well. So I'm going to be watching this. And again, if we break 150, probably we're going to go to 130, 135. So watch out for that. And one more before I wrap the video up, guys. I don't want to be too long in here. Happy Friday, by the way. I hope you guys did manage to do decent this week. I mean, it was a pretty rough week. I personally made money on covered calls. Pretty much that's it. You know, I had my Tattooed Chef covered calls expire today. Worthless. So I made all that premium 100% on my Tattooed Chef shares. So maybe next week, who knows? Maybe we do see a bounce back, but it's obviously too early to tell. The last stock for today, before I wrap the video up, is ChargePoint, CHPT. ChargePoint is getting pretty oversold as well. I mean, we had a big run from 17 to about 30. Now we're getting back to the middle. I mean, we are in the middle 20s, mid-20s. We're at 25. And we saw a bit of a V-shaped recovery. I think it was today. Yeah, if you guys take a look here, ChargePoint actually collapsed to 23.80 in the pre-market, and we V-shaped recovered. We filled that entire gap that we fell, you know, we collapsed, right? We filled that entire gap back to about 25, 26. That's the V-shaped recovery on the intraday chart, which going back to the 4-hour chart is showing that we bounced right above the 180 SMA at about 23.60, which is a good sign that buyers are stepping in, not allowing this to collapse under 23.60. And we have earnings coming up. I believe that's next week. The 7th of December. Actually, no, that's not next week. It's probably the week after next week. So we're going to be watching it. On top of that, we're noticing a channel forming on this 20-day chart. You guys can see lower lows, lower highs within this channel. And if we end up seeing a break above, let's say 26, I'm going to put my alert right there. We might be able to see a short-term run to, let's say, 27. And at that point, if we test and break the channel, you guys know what's coming after that. Probably a leg up to test at least 28.78, which was the high point from about 3 weeks ago. So overall, guys, don't panic, right? A lot of people are running for the hills, which is why we're seeing the markets getting destroyed. They wouldn't be getting destroyed if there wasn't mass selling out there, and volatility's up, which is showing us again that there's a lot of selling, fear, volatility. VIX was up 55%. I mean, that's not normal. So if you're in a good position right now, you have cash, you have an emergency fund where you don't need to dip into your stocks where you have to sell at a loss, and then that's a whole mess. We don't want to get into that. But if you're in a good situation right now, you have your emergency fund, you have cash in your brokerage, you have investments, you're trading, you have covered call positions, you're selling, whatever. There's no need to panic, right? There really isn't, in my personal opinion. Now, if you're trading with money that, you need for your daughter's college next month, or, you're trading money that you need for a down payment in 2 months from now, that's a different situation, which is why, again, you don't do that. You need a cash emergency fund. You need savings outside of the markets that you can dip into without going into your stock account, if that makes any sense, right? And that's it. I don't want to go on a tangent here and rant. We're already about 15 minutes in, so I'm going to wrap it up. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts, and check out my Patreon if you want all my moves in the markets. That's linked down below. And you guys could also get 50 free bucks from M1 Finance and 2 stocks from Webull up to $1,600, also linked down below. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video, which I'll pop one up here that I made earlier going over some stocks that got extremely destroyed today that we didn't talk about in this video. I'll pop it here, check it out. I'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching. As always, keep crushing the markets. Stay safe out there. Have a great weekend, guys. Peace out.